So I want to go over how to make a foot wrap, and some of this will apply if we're going to address a dermatological condition on the pastern, such as scratches or rain rot. So the first thing I want to go over is how to make a hoof patch, and this is relatively easy if you have some duct tape. Strip out that's going to make sure that I cover the size of my hoof, which like I said is about that big, in the center of it, and about equal portions of duct tape on either side. And you do that over and over and over again until you get the size you want. I'm just going to take just a few pieces here, so please bear with me. One more I think should do it. So that should pretty much encompass the size of our foot. So I'm going to put one more in just to be safe. So now we want to make a T, and so we'll go across this way, following the same rules as we did before. So here's our patch. That should work. So here's our patch, and so we will be using this. We're going to have to pull it up, being careful not to get it stuck to itself, and there you go. There. Now to make a relatively easy padded wrap, and it's not as much padding as what I'd prefer, but for, like I said, the conditions where you just want to keep some medication in contact with the hoof or with the pastern, this works really nice. Take an old tube sock, preferably crew socks work the best, knee highs work even better yet. This is a crew sock, and so it's not nearly as high as what it probably should be to adequately cover the pastern, but we're going to use this for demonstration purposes. You take the toe part of the sock and you cut it off. So the key is I tell people it's toe out. Remember toe out and remember the whole procedure. And really you take the toe part of the sock and you roll it to the outside until you're about halfway down the sock. And you take the elastic part and you roll it to the inside, and I can already see that this sock's probably going to be too short, but we're going to go through it anyway. So remember toe out and elastic to the inside. And any of you that are in the medical profession that have had to put socks for casting tape, it's the same procedure. So those are the basic things you need. Here's our animal Lintex. This is that poultice pad that I really like for drawing out infections, especially in the bottom of the hoof. And so typically I'll cut this out to the shape of the hoof or wherever my area of interest is. And so I'll go ahead and cut a patch out from that so I can demonstrate how this is used. It doesn't need to be very big. Hopefully it's not the whole bottom of the foot that's infected, so this just needs to go over the area that needs to do all the drawing. Okay, I'm going to show you a number of different ways in which I apply foot wraps. Here again, I really like that wrap. If I had my choice for the gold standard, I think that's really needs to be part of the whole process. So here I have the animal Lintex, the poultice pad. I've cut the piece out and I've soaked it in water. I've soaked it in water and wrung it out. I believe it has better drawing abilities once you do that. So I'll pick my leg up or my foot up, and let's assume that the injury is here. The poultice needs to be applied here to help pull that infection out. Well, then I'll grab my vet wrap and I'll get it started first. That's kind of the key. And here again I go around the outside of the foot, such as that, going over the heel bulbs. And now I'll do a figure eight. Now this time I will incorporate the coronary band. You just don't want to make sure that you don't want to make it a tourniquet. And so you're going to go across the coronary band and not real tight like that. And then you're going to go and figure eight it around the foot like so. And of course I've got two partials, so I'm going to continue on with the partial just so that you get an idea. So I'm going to go across like that. I'm going to cross this heel bulb. I'm going to go around the corner like this, around the foot, and over this heel bulb to the opposite side. And then I'm going to go around the whole foot, again, not real tight. And I'm going to come back across and do my figure 8 here. And of course I'm going to run out. If I had more, I'd bring it across to there. So that's how you would wrap the bottom of the foot. And here again, it's not too tight around the top because I can get my fingers under here, see? So you know it's not too tight. And that's kind of the test. Make sure you can get your fingers underneath there. So that's that, but that's not going to stand up very well with this horse moving around. Hopefully, granted they're going to be a little sore, but if we've done our job right, they should continue to improve, but we still need to keep some sort of a wrap on there. So what I'll do for the next layer is I'll just take my sock that I made and I rolled that part to the outside. And if I'm working on a pastern injury like here, this works very well for that as well. I'll take that toe that I cut off and I roll it up the foot. Of course, this is just going to be big enough as if I were treating a foot injury. Then you take this end and you twist it. So you put a knot in the middle of it and close the tube. And this is the elastic part. And you just take the elastic part and you bring that up over the foot. And as you can see, it's self-retaining. It'll stay put because the elastic, and you don't need to do anything further. This comes in handy when you get those horses that just are not very willing to let you hold that foot up long enough to put a wrap on. And so you can bypass the vet wrap layer if you have to. This is relatively quick and easy if you've got your sock ready to go. So that's that. Of course, if I had a longer sock, I could get that sock to come all the way up to here. And if that's the case, if you have a wound that you're treating that's here and your wrap comes up to here and you want to keep it from sliding down, what I will do is take some electrical tape, and I'll make a loose wrap around the pastern. And I mean loose, not real tight. But yet the diameter of that wrap is small enough that it won't slide down over the hoof because the hoof is bigger around than what the pastern is. And so that's what I will do to ensure that the sock stays put and doesn't end up falling down under the ground. Now this, our patch, this is kind of our moisture barrier, if you will. And now we're going to put that on the bottom of the foot, just like this. We're going to put it on the bottom of the foot and we're going to fold our tabs over, just like that. So now we've got a moisture barrier and a wear barrier on the bottom of that foot, and then we can take our duct tape, and we're going to apply this duct tape on our tabs just on the foot itself. So we're going to be careful not to get it above the hoof caps and onto the hairline. We're going to come around it like so, and a little bit higher to get our heel bulbs in there. And there you go. That's pretty much how the wrap is going to be. Now you can take some scissors if you want to make it look pretty and trim off these tabs. But this is going to give the foot a lot of cushion on the bottom of it. It's going to protect it. And our duct tape is going to act as a moisture barrier and help prevent mud and water and what have you, rain getting up into that hoof. So that's how you would wrap a hoof.